they can wrap it up into a nice little package so it fits whatever the narrative was. And, it could be like the Warren Commission, it could be like the 9/11 report, deliberately going to omit key elements which are crucial to the public what actually took place here. And I find that quite troubling, particularly when Cash is meant to be the people's guy, and particularly your guy in regards to, the political alignment.
Not my guy. That's
about America's guy, Marcus guy, the truth guy, the guy going the cabal, the guy that was going to expose Epstein, etc. Right? So he's let everyone down on that front, but nevertheless, he was the guy. So it's incumbent upon them all to ensure that there aren't massive holes you can flush 747 through in whatever this story is, what it becomes, and what the ultimate outcome is as well. But I think they want it wrapped up. I think they want to pin it on him. I think they want to nicely, I think they want to put him in a grave. And if they can do that within 12 months, it'd be fantastic.
That is probably the darkest aspect of this is knowing that they are pushing for guilt, like they are tipping the scales. They're doing everything they can to tip the scales, and they're doing so going for death. With all of the anomalies and the unanswered questions and the effort to obfuscate the fact that they're actually trying to kill this person and in a public manner has a very sinister, very, very dark and sinister vibe to it, especially from self-proclaimed Christians. It's really fucking wicked, dude. Even if he is guilty, the way that they're going about this makes them look very, very wicked as an organization, and that's on them. My soul, I know that I'm acting with my principles, and that's how I stay aligned with my God. And when I go to answer my God at the end of my life, I don't have to try to bargain with him. I know that I'm not going to have to try to rationalize or justify my actions or inactions. But these people, they are going to have to answer. And so it doesn't even really matter. I want to see justice carried out in this world, but if it's not, it's going to be carried out in the next. That's my belief anyways. That's my little diatribe. Sorry. Go ahead, Red Road.
Hi, Diligent. Great space as always. I wanted to say that yesterday I was on Suleiman's space, and Harrison, I don't know Harrison's last name, but he's the one that works with Alex Jones. He's the one who said that Charlie had told him that he was scared for his life from Israel.
It wasn't Charlie.
Oh, okay. But he said what he said. I can actually find that for you too.
We already posted that. You're talking about he went into space and he said that no one from the FBI reached out to him.
Oh, no, that's it. Okay, got it. Okay, thanks.
No problem. Yeah, and I'll DM Harrison and see if I can get him in here because he follows me. But yeah, it's just weird. If you're really doing everything you can, how could you have not followed up on that lead? And then what other leads are you not following up on? You know what I mean? Like you lose credibility. The worse, like the further we go, every time that there's an evidence that you have not flipped over this rock, a very glaring rock, why are you leaving stones unturned? Why are you not searching every avenue, every possibility? And you can't even hide behind, we're looking into things that you don't know about. Well, hello, we have somebody that there was a credible threat against Charlie Kirk's life 2 weeks before he was assassinated, and you haven't contacted him. So we do, in fact, know that you're not actively looking at all of these outside leads. Go ahead, Stray.
Yeah, mate. I remember earlier you referenced the 5 billion views, and You know, that's a really significant number, right? That's massive. That's saying market share, that's saying impact. That's literally going to coerce anyone that wasn't necessarily going to lend their assistance to them, that they have to be there because just the eyes on alone. But I'm wondering then, what is someone like Mr. Beast doing on a monthly basis in regards to views? Like, at scale,
I'm gonna leave Irish Paul soon.
What is that?
Jesus, Irish Paul. I gotta.
So we can
Why
understand.
am I talking to you? You can't even talk to me.
I don't know. I would need more context from the video. I haven't got to really dig into it since I just saw it while I was hosting the space.
Yeah, but it is a massive number, right? And has that been obviously since Charlie sadly was assassinated? Or is it in the last month?
It has. They saw a huge spike in viewership in the month after Charlie was assassinated. Like October, they like September and October, but by the beginning of November, the end of October, behavior of the staff have impacted public perception in the way that they were reacting. There's been reports, and I don't know if this is the case, but there's been reports of lots of different so I know for a fact in November their viewership took a hit, and then by the beginning of December I verified it. Their numbers had tanked on the Charlie Kirk show. They plummeted. He was number 10.
You see someone buy their first
down
voice or
the high 100s. I think it was like 147 the last time I looked. And that was like early in the week, right? The viewership that we have. Now, when we say Charlie Kirk is the main attraction, and of course, without him there, the appeal's gone. But I would argue, if you look at, I had Grok analyze this, and you can have Grok look at metrics, and it's pretty accurate. Sometimes it gets things wrong, but when it comes to looking at platform metrics, it's pretty consistent. And I've had Grok look on numerous occasions at sentiment, and it does system or the positive or negative sentiment. In November, it's relatively stayed the same in December and this week, but it is heavily increased due to all of the allegations and unanswered questions when it comes to TPUSA. So I don't know, man. That 5 billion view things. I mean, that could be. She might be aggregating all the different members and their platforms, and also you have to. They're partnered with Salem Broadcasting, which is like I believe is a radio syndicated or a syndicated radio station out of Arizona or that region, and so they're hitting a bunch of radio stations while like they're simulcasting their Charlie Kirk show on all of these radio stations, and she might be putting those listener numbers as well. I don't know.
Or the social media bots that are being paid.
Just about.
If you're going to sell it or potentially put it on the market to at least try to figure out, hey, listen, is there an offer here on the table? Saying we've got 5 billion views, that's gonna, bring a bit of money to the table, wouldn't it? Intelligent? There's a few people that wouldn't mind being involved.
Well, if you're at Mar-a-Lago and it's $3,000 to $10,000 or $3,000 to $7,000 a plate or whatever, and you're in front of a bunch of Trump-level donors, and you're trying to sell your organization for the midterms next year, you're definitely going to tout the viewership numbers to try to entice some donors to throw their money in. That way you can win elections for them, if I had to guess.
If I was Ben Shapiro, why the hell wouldn't I go to people and say, let's acquire it. Let's take it right now. That is now a Daily Wire property. The entirety of it. We manage the production. We do everything. We're greenlit by all the right people. We ensure that only the right people are allowed to speak on stage to the youth. They ensure they're client with a vision for America, which is in alignment with Zionism or whatever that may be. Of course, why wouldn't Ben Shapiro do that? Why wouldn't he acquire it? There's 5 billion views.
I think that, was he there?
I'm unsure of that, but I'm wondering if he presented it and said, gentlemen, I need the capital, I think he could find 10 guys.
Isn't he Daily Wire? Sorry, are you suggesting that like Daily Wire? Well, it's a nonprofit, so I don't know that it can be acquired like a company. I don't know.
Yeah, but even I think, you know, Erica can't manage the production side of it. The amount of content they've got to pump out on the daily has to be managed by a team of people.
Yeah, they already have their own team, right? The only person who's gone is Charlie.
Yeah, that's right. So it's not Erica going to be telling them what they need to pump out every single day.
Well, it also makes it weird that they're putting her out there out front right now because she's not particularly appealing, like other than being a victim right now and the emotion that comes along with that, like the victimhood, which I'm not disparaging. But like other than that, it's not like she is. I haven't seen anything that like puts her at the level of Charlie Kirk as far as like interest or intellectual conversation or like political appeal, if that makes sense. Like I don't understand why they are putting her at the forefront, other than they are facing a lot of heat right now, and they're trying to shield themselves behind her and her her grieving widow status. Because other than that, I don't see what the benefit is in pushing her to the forefront of the company. CEOs aren't always the most visible. I mean, they get a lot of attention, but a lot of times they're doing like the background networking. They're going to these like galas, or they're talking to donors or whatever, and all the day-to-day operations and the shows and productions are handled by the other members of the board, right? Like it is weird to me.
No, absolutely.
She doesn't have any CEO experience. The way that they gave it to her as if because I did read up on this, and I could be wrong, but from what I had read, she had pretty much just been like a unofficial advisor to Charlie during his CEO status at TPUSA. And when you look at her background, she has background in modeling and as an actress.
She identified as a CEO.
I saw that.
No, but I think a very fair comparison in that sense to determine whether or not she has the bona fides and the acumen to be able to take it over and to be at the front of the operation, as it were, now taking over from her perished husband. Look at somebody like Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's daughter, and what she was able to do with WWE. Like, she was able to take on a leadership role like that. She was able to satisfy not only the corporate side, but the Ivy League side of that corporate side, as well as the rank and file and people from the trailer parks. So she had the full capability to be able to do that. I know she was hooked up with Triple H or whatever later, and now it's become a behemoth and they've sold it onto something else. But she had that capability to be able to stand in there and immediately take charge, have the rest.
But she was also, but she was also raised in that environment. She wasn't raising kids and a family and just married into it recently. I mean, whenever you're there from the beginning with something like that's what you've known your whole life, that's one thing. Like, if Charlie's kids had grown up in this environment with it for their whole lives, like, yeah, handing it down to them, they're going to know exactly what to do. But since they've been together, I mean, she's predominantly just been pregnant and raising babies, which is a completely different experience than being the CEO.
I call her like a baby factory. I think that's very interesting.
Well, she was basically, in a trad wife position.
Well, let me give you one other quick example then for consideration, Noxie. Her name is Terry Irwin. She was the crocodile hunter's wife, Steve Irwin's wife. Right? And Steve obviously died through a tragedy. many years ago, and she was left with two young children, Bob and Bindi. Now they're both 21 and 25, 26 now. They've grown up without their father, but they've tried to keep his memory alive. So all they've ever done since then, with all the money that's coming, is acquire more land here in Australia for wilderness and for conservation. And they do it all under his name. And they're just on that farm. They're in Australia, so every single day doing their stuff. They come over to America, they go to Vegas, they do the Australia Week with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman and plenty of others. But they're solely focused on that legacy and that task. But it's still largely private for them. They have their inner circle, but everyone's in it for the right reasons. And it's totally different in approach to Terry, Steve Irwin's wife, although she used to be on Oprah with him and on Jay Leno and a few other things sitting beside him. She never wanted to inherit it and become the true face of it. So now everyone's very kind to her, of course, from the philanthropic side. But she hasn't tried to be out on stage glamorizing herself or anything like that. So I wonder, Noxie, would that have been better for Erica just to remain private throughout this? And she would have got support forever. And she was never required to have to step up like this. And perhaps some people have put her there for a purpose so they can capitalize on it rather than
I think you're exactly right. I think that she was put in that position. I think that if she would have stood back and appointed somebody else to be able to handle all of the questions that are coming at Turning Point USA right now, it would have been a lot better. But I think that it was a maneuver to put her there, because how dare you ask any questions of her family, which now she refers to Turning Point USA. Yeah, as her family.
I think they put her out of there out of desperation because the backlash was so constant against the Charlie Kirk show staff, like Andrew Colvett, Blake Knapp, and them. And even though they tried to virtue signal their way out of it, it just wasn't working. So they're hiding behind the skirts of the grieving widow so that they don't have to face further scrutiny. However, that's also not working. It worked for a minute. Like, you know, like when all of the shills and the ideologues were and the bots were all in alignment on the Cancel Candace campaign that they did a couple of yesterday and the day before. It kind of like ran out of steam really fast. I noticed. I've watched that happen. I've been at the center of it. You know, I caught some strays off of that one, but I've been at the center of it during Epstein and just after Kirk's assassination when I didn't buy the narrative, and it fizzled way faster this time. Like, it didn't have any traction really, and so I don't think it's going to have the impact I thought it was going to have as far as PR-wise, you know, hiding behind her. And I would even go as far to say is that it's backfiring because she's I look at the people who I know aren't like pro Candace. In my comments on my content, at least, I see people say they don't like Candace, but they're also like, I also don't like this. You know what I mean? Like, this is weird, you know? And so I'm just looking at, like, the people who declare that they don't have a side or a team or, like, a hero in this. And it still looks like people aren't buying it. Like, it's not sellable.
It wasn't timed right.
I have a real life friend, a normie friend who's not on X that I usually talk to at least once a week to see what they're seeing in the news because they watch, like old school news and they're on some like Facebook and shit or whatever, right? And she told me, I said, I described what I've been working on. She said, Erica Kirk. She says, I saw her for the first time on the news yesterday, like on my TV news. And I said, what did you think? And she said, I thought they should put her back where she came from. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And she said, why isn't she with her kids? And she said, it's not convincing. And it makes them look worse. That's what she said. And verbatim, I'm not trying to be biased. Like, literally, that's what she said. And I can see that. That's how I also feel. I feel like, why are you not with your kids? Where is your downtime, I realize people, often when organizations have something like this happen, and even if they have a successor in mind, if that successor has, maternity leave or whatever, often the COO will step up in the interim and act as the CEO and carry out the mission. They didn't have that here. They immediately handed the reins off to her, and she immediately started doing this campaign and tour. It makes the grieving widow thing have less impact because you have not given any indication that maybe I'm being coerced here sometimes. You haven't given any indication that you are actually a grieving widow, right? And whoever handled that it's on them. But that's the fact of the matter. It's looked disingenuous or insincere at best. Numerous occasions, I'm not convinced. And I wasn't even looking at her with a side eye until I'd seen her a few times. And it wasn't really until, just all of it, not just her, the TPUSA staff, the production element of all of this, in Arizona, and just all of it, the rally aspect of it. A lot of it didn't have there was no somberness to it, no humility, no somberness, especially. Where is the sincerity? I don't get that from them, and I haven't. And a lot of other people haven't either. And their behavior towards people who ask questions, right, who did not make accusations, and the lashing out, and just all of it, it just adds up to sus, and they have created this themselves. They have no one but to blame themselves. Explain, hey, we just didn't know how to deal with this. Yeah, try to answer some of your questions now as best we can. And even just try to talk to the people. Have these conversations, not with each other, but with people. With the people. We the people. His platform was built on reaching out across the aisle and down into the muck, right? Into the peasants and talking to everyday common people, and they're not doing that, right? They're acting like elitists, they're acting like the establishment, and they are treating people with disdain and vitriol in some cases, and they expect they deserve everything that they're getting in return. They have nobody but themselves to blame. I have zero sympathy.
Yeah, man, a super interesting question that came to my mind then is Charlie was willing to go to
Somebody coming to me. I want to do whatever common people do. I want to sleep.
I'm sorry for that. Continue.
Why did you cut it off?
Go ahead and say the talk.
I was dancing.
that was a pulp, so it wasn't too bad. Aside from that, yes, Charlie was able to speak with everybody. He was speaking with everybody on the far left in particular. I think he really got So if that's the case, Megan Kelly has got a bit of a challenge ahead of her. Some of Megan Kelly's audience will get on over Candace's direction, or is it more likely that some of Candace's audience will get back on the straight and narrow and head towards Megan Kelly?
I think Candace is, well, I think the family thing is ridiculous, so I'm not going to talk to that. But when you bring up a really good point, and I've been trying to explain this to people on the timeline, is that people, Tim Pool, if you're watching conservative talking head numbers go down, or so-called conservative, I don't think they're conservative, it's just me. If you're seeing conservative talking head numbers go down, like Tim Pool, for example, or Cora Green, or Megyn Kelly, any of them, if you're seeing the Charlie Kirk show, if you're seeing their viewership numbers go down, and you're seeing Candace Owens and other truth seekers numbers go up, the marketplace is telling you what it wants, even if they don't like each other, the cult members know, right? They might be bickering on the timeline. There's a lot of moderates or right adjacent. It's all on the right. Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, myself, Tim Pool, they're all on the right, and there in some independents. I'm wondering where the left is, but that's whatever. We'll get into that right now. Those are interchangeable audiences. So, Candace has been siphoning audience. Well, actually, I wouldn't say siphoning because probably they have been bleeding audience to Candace because they're pushing the fucking bullshit. They're selling something that is part of the right? And doing so instead of having an objective conversation, resort to ad hominem and strawman arguments and various fallacies to try to defend something to try to make it look good. And not only are they defending the narrative, they're exhibiting a lack of curiosity into exploring alternatives to the government narrative. So people are going there looking for variety, and they are looking for integrity, and they are looking for honor, and they are not finding it in the former, right? That is why Candace is seeing a surge. It's not necessarily that they're all huge Candace fans. It's just that she's offering them something different when all of the other, so-called conservative media heads are all selling the same thing, which is government fence law. Does that make sense?
Yeah, do you recall when Nick was on the Tucker asked Nick, healing events on this journey, he said what was actually Mark Levine. Mark Levine radicalized me. Obviously, Mark Levine took exception to that. He lost his mind around it, but it was a little throwaway line from me. And then during Piers Morgan, he said something similar as well. So these guys are setting themselves up to fail, I think, diligently. There's no way they're going to win over the younger audience any longer. During that conversation, I think Nick said to Piers, the 3 books that he recommended to people, and he threw Bill O'Reilly under the bus. The first book he referenced was Pinhead's Bill O'Reilly. And I think the second book he referenced after that was Mein Kampf. I can't recall what the third one was, but there were 3 books. But
Like an inner city kid, a kid like me that never were around.
spat out its tea all over television and threw the book down or whatever it is. Because now it's been associated with people with text and people with just recommending that book to its people.
They're changing its image though. I mean, you saw him go on Crowder, right? And Crowder gave him the 3 questions, the gatekeeping questions. Are you anti-Semitic? No, I am not. Will you kiss the wall? Yes, I will. I'm kidding. That was funny.
We need people to rock the boat a little bit, bro. We know boring motherfucking house. You you can go find some other house there, Sam. If you like some boring house, everybody's got a fucking. If people don't fit your description of intelligence, even you want to kick them down, bro. That's bullshit.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Actually, Jojo, shut up. Let me speak because I have history.
Yeah, go ahead.
This loser like this loser is like he's shut up. He's like wanna be elitist.
Shut up.
Guys, let's go King and then Juju and then I'm gonna insert myself and let someone else. Go ahead.
Put me in the queue, almighty master Jeremy.
He's like, I want to be autocrat. He's like, he want to be elitist. Like, oh, we should talk about. He's like this, like, middle, like, Asians, like, guy. He wants, like, he's stupid. And he thinks he's smart. He want to be like, what's smart? I know him.
I do speak French a little bit. I speak also this morning. Look, I already said that there's nothing that you can say that will shock me because you guys on this show. So put that alone for a second. Listen to all the stuff you guys are saying. Did you guys watch real quick? And I don't need to bring up anything because I feel like you're trying to hit this space. But just a quick question: did you guys get a chance to check out Candace's on Jimmy Carter? No, it's not about me making this about Candace, but did you get a chance to check? But she came out and said that it was Andrew Colbert who told her that Charlie got these threats. She also said that Andrew Colbert, now because she's saying Andrew Colbert, this is the only reason I'm bringing this up. If she said it was a mommy sleuth, then I would probably just leave it alone. But she also said that Andrew Colbert told her that her and Tucker Carlson are next, and this was hours after the shooting of Charlie, the sad assassination of Charlie Kirk. What is going on? Furthermore, and this is the last part, but who the hell is Tim Pool? Just looking at the redacted, this colonel came up, and this colonel.
That made a great point. So, what I got from that, and what I want to contribute to Melanie's point is, are we going to be for entertainment purposes, or are we going for educational purposes? Because it's kind of like it feels like we're trying to go either one way or the other, not really in between. I love that submission, Juju. But if you're done, because I think I'm next, but I want to let you finish because I love that submission.
Yeah, go after you, Jeremy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, pocket
Let me
next.
say hi to Cora, my love. I love her.
We all love Cora. He's fucking Dean. How dare you interrupt the conversation just to point out that white is white and black is black? Everybody loves Cora. Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah, dear.
That cake.
Yeah, I thought she was white.
That's my game. I guarantee you, she is just as pleased and tickled as I would be if you thought I was a black man. But let me know if she's fine with this.
Wait, you're not going to hear me?
Oh, bless your heart, Sam. Hey, Juju, can I?
Yeah, Jeremy's black for sure. Hi, Jeremy. He's trying to way up and down.
Stop it. I love your beautiful union. Let me just say this, guys. Is that hold on. Let me just say this really quickly, and then I'm going to pass it to the next person. Is that I think Juju asked a really important question, and this is why I was trying to understand Sam and Steve's big rooms. Right? Is that we need free speech, we need discourse. That's why Fuck With Talk News is because two people with violently different opinions to the point where they're like heated can have that conversation without someone in power saying, you know what, we're having an argument, but I have power, so fuck you, I'm going to silence you. That didn't need to happen. That's what made it good. And I know it makes chaos sometimes, right? And I agree, there's a nuance, like how much chaos versus how much free speech. But what I've proposed, and I want your guys' take, is that the vitriol personal shit mountain, when you say we need doxing, we need messiness, no, dude. Hold on, you did say that. What I'll say is this. Doxing? I thought you said that. I thought I heard that too.
Do not go down the wet tower. Do not go down the alley.
Wait, I won't. I will not. I will. Oh, okay, so yeah.
I want to clarify, I never said doxing.
Did I say that accurately? So let me adjust my saying. I think that whatever you say from a free speech perspective, no matter how much it hurts, it should be permitted as long as it's genuine and it's trying to build on the conversation. that's a controversial statement.
And honestly, like King is a bit of a pussy ass.
Alex next. Alex
He is. King absolutely is a pussy ass bitch.
Alex next.
Somebody's watching.
Hey y'all. Hey, this is the story all about how my life got flipped. Okay, thank you. It's my turn. So I just want to say, when it comes to if we see it as entertainment, it's subjective, right? Because even your guys' crash house, I'm taking notes on how people are acting. I'm taking notes on what triggers people. I'm taking notes on the behavior of people. It can be a learning experience. There was fucking chaos. I don't think people understand that's how governments really learn to control people is by taking notes on how to respond to chaos. So I think it's important to see even the craziness of y'all. There's something to learn with that. I think it's really important. Sociology, psychology is really within this. I don't even know college for it. You guys are fitting examples of what would be used in these courses in college. So I feel like it's really important to see the learning experience within all this craziness because you guys are different characters, different breeds.
Did I just hear I was a lab rat?
100% for me, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
All right. I've never been one of those before. I'm here.
Yeah, dude.
Hi, everybody. This is Musician. I'd just like to play a little flute for you because I know we spend so much time talking.
I'm sorry, I am so sorry, and this is messy, but that's kind of what the conversation. I am so sorry, I'm so Canadian, but that's kind of what this conversation is about. Not Canadian, but like what makes a good room, like what builds a good room, and here's the messy nuances. What I'm trying to understand. I asked Steve the question about how he builds his room. I know Yosanna has a house. I know Cora's been on this app for.
Do you remember Steve's one-word answer?
No, you did you not.
I didn't think you would remember.
You know how much weed I smoke? Stop it. Stop it. Just stop being so discriminated against the weed smokers. Just tell me. Don't ask me. Come on, you demon.
I think complete freedom is what builds a good room. I think the cafeteria vibe at school to have is a good vibe. Like everyone's talking over each other, having conversations. We'll yell for a few minutes. It's only 2 minutes of your life, maybe 5. You're not gonna die. Let the people argue. You know what I mean? I feel like I like that vibe. The whole queue and all that shit. Like if someone wants to go and they're that desperate, I want to go. You know what I mean? I feel like
You want to go?
Do you want to go?
It's all of that, Pop.
You want to go, bro?
I'll go, bro.
Pockets. We've had little trials because people have been offended by some pretty bullshit stuff, and then they get canceled for literally sometimes weeks or months, and it's bullshit. I think it's got that again.
Y'all activating these characters.
He's a nigger that he can't
Bro,
get
I'm
his feet on
telling you, it's a
purpose.
cancel culture disguised as fucking entertainment. Straight up, bro, is what it is. And some people enjoy it. Some people really do weaponize it, and they disguise it as entertainment, but they weaponize it. Steve, people like that,
Yes, absolutely. I weaponize the rules. I weaponize the trials. And I don't disguise it as entertainment. I shout it out loud.
Sidebar, Corey, you got this, Corey. You are freaking.
Hey, Pockets.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, I don't disguise jack shit. I hold it up loud and yell it out loud.
Wait, hold on. I know it's getting kind of late. People might be leaving, so I want to leave you with these words. Always remember to take care of yourself and each other.
Smoke a big fat bowl, yeah.
I feel like if everybody smoked the blunt at once, this world war would be done. I feel like if everybody in this world smoked the blunt at the same time, I feel like we'd all be.
Yeah, but I'm not into smoking dope. Well, that's hold on.
How old are you, bro? You call it pot?
You don't even know what a Grafenberg is. Just a grown-up told me they don't know nothing about her spots. This shit is weird. And I laugh. Fuck it. It's just my typical man, and the problem is you all wrong.
say helping to us?
I would like to read to a talking ape a poem to see if a talking ape can comprehend said poem.
Shut the fuck up.
I love this. Go ahead.
No, read the poem. Read the poem.
Love the poems. Come on.
There is no burning for him who has completed the journey, who is free of sorrows and all else, and who has broken off all chains. The mindful put forth great effort. They do not remain content in the household life, but leave their homes behind, just as swans leave a muddy lake.
Good shit.
Clown house users do not hoard.
Shut the fuck up.
They take a right view of eating, focused on deliverance and void. They leave no trace like the path of birds in the sky. Hello?
We're listening.
He who is free from obsessions, eating simply, clear-headed, and focused on liberation, like a migrating bird, leaves no trace of a track in the sky. Even the gods delight in the presence of one who has freed himself from pride, mental obsessions, who has his senses under control, like horses trained by an expert trainer. Done with the round of rebirths, he is as accepting as the earth, as firm as a club.
Wait, Mountain. Magic, whatever the fuck your name is. Have you ever heard of Khalil Gibran?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And no worries on the name. You can just call me Juniper. Who the fuck are you? Stop talking.
Hello? Hello?
Have you ever heard of Khalil Gibran?
Yeah, I've seen the books. I don't have any of his books.
And that's what I think that you was coming from.
No, I'm reading from the sayings of the Buddha, the Dhammapada.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude, you sound like you was following Khalil Gibran.
Yeah, it's all very similar language. But not many people know the Buddha. A lot of people know that Buddhism is big, but they've never read the sayings of the Buddha.
I have. I just don't recall all like them by heart, but it's very interesting literature.
Yeah, it is. It's very smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if you're just reflecting or trying to change from somebody else's.
Why is all these girls hitting me in my DM? I don't like that.
Is it happening now?
It's happening as we're speaking.
Oh, you don't show people what you got, or they'll come along and try to.
They don't like me in public, but you know, in my DM. That's crazy.
What?
They don't like me in public, but they want to be in my DM. That's crazy.
You know what I found? That it's best to just like be as honest with yourself and others as possible. But sometimes that's difficult to navigate, especially in modern society with the way that things are.
No, I didn't have Telegram.
I don't have access to Instagram or Facebook.
X, what about X?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Nura.
Fuck it.
Within the duct. So, okay.
Fucking cows and goats and shit, like fucking your sister, incest and shit.
What's up, SA? You need
Oh my God, Tommy, you still running around with trans? You's a faggot.
Hold on, play on this shit, nigga.
You's a faggot, trans. You like trans, bro. Such a bitch ass.
Oh man.
Nah, bro. But we know you was fucking trans in real life in Vegas, nigga. We know that. We know that 4 years ago, trans. We knew that 4 years ago, Tommy trans.
That's going down in this motherfucker tonight, Friday Night Lights.
I'm not gonna play this video game you was talking about yesterday. Oh shit, I think
You should take it again. I love this guy. Everybody gives him shit. But really, what he's trying to do is
Rufy. That's his name? Rufy? Okay.
what? He's
Hey,
trying
you're
to
not
instill a sense of telling people to read books, for heaven's sake. Join the book club. Stop being mindless.
Are you logging on there, Liquid? No, I'm not trying to play a video game right now. I'm just saying yes, it is. I'm trying to look at club shit right now.
Actually, it's not one club used to use some expression. Later on in life, he might play a flute for us if we're lucky.
Yo, Princess, is that you?
What?
Oh shit, someone on me.
It's a leaf flute.
Okay, that's crazy.
Actually, you have to really take one. You, I don't like that.
The meat flute is crazy.
Meat flutes are like, I'm actually adding that to my repertoire. Should you call that a meat flute?
It's not bad. Dude, it's not a movie.
I'm sorry, we could be on there. No, I've never heard that. Learn something new on this app every day.
Back channel.
We do.
Get your back broke.
Whoa. Is that what's going on in here?
What are you gonna do? Snitch?
Is somebody
You're always snitching, motherfucker.
Hello?
is somebody in your back channel?
Well, I literally went to the other room and started snitching.
Literally 3 people in my back channel.
Right now?
Right now, as I'm speaking.
I don't even check the back channel. How do you check the back channel?
Okay, hold on. Juju, is that you? Juju?
Yeah.
Okay, go to the hallway by pressing the down arrow.
Okay.
Then you go to the bottom right. There's a little icon, and that's where the back channels are.
Bro,
And anybody who's trying to conversate with you
that's crazy.
is all there. Now, some of those perhaps are in a
Been open about this, and Canner is an Islamic German Turkey.
So, that's how the little continuity
I'm so sorry. And also, if you guys actually double click on the origin of why people call the turkey, it's fucking fascinating, but we're not going to do that.
indigenous people from America, man.
combine the German and the Turk and just call him a jerk. There you go.
Corey, you are so fucked up. Cora's a Nazi. Cora's a Nazi.
Stop it. Only a German like you would know what a Nazi is. But hold on, this is my question. Are all the Abrahamic religions masochistic?
We don't follow
And here's-
Abraham. We don't follow Abraham.
If I were still working for Uncle Sam and I was looking for adversaries of going in the information space, I would know, holy shit, this is a problem. Russia today is following what Candace Owens is doing with respect to Charlie Kirk. The asking of questions and the media response to what she's asking. When I was in government, that was always an indicator because Russia today and some other outlets are the West.
Oh, good, you were patient. How long have you been waiting?
Oh, I've been playing my flute over here for about 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Chinese flute. Have you ever played a drone flute before?
A drone flute?
Yeah, it's called a drone head. It's like a.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, if you have 2 flutes, you can make your own drone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I played around with stuff. I've had a lot to do with music in my life, so yeah.
Yeah. I really just like mixing it all up. It's so nice to have abundance, so you never get bored.
Yeah, abundance, of course, is a sort of loose word. Yeah, but as long as you're not for stuff and you
Yeah, space and stuff. I think Alan Watts said something to the extent of it's a question of, what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to put it? Who's going to clean it?
Yeah,
Um,
I got rid of most of my stuff. Whatever I got some expensive stuff. The stuff I've got I really like, but I don't have much.
mhm.
I don't need much.
I knew this Greek family that has a lot of real estate, and the father, the husband was a orthopedic surgeon, very successful, and he had a warehouse full of antiques that he had been collecting for like 40 years. And I said to his son, I was like, "What do you, are you looking forward to dealing with all of that in the future?" He goes, "When I think about it, it causes me terrible anxiety."
Right. Sell it. Go buy a boat. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I'm just playing music over here, enjoying my night. And I was reading the Dhammapada by the Buddha. And it's kind of interesting. It repeats, they leave no trace like the path of birds in the sky. Like a migrating bird leaves no trace of a track in the sky. So it's kind of like a heron, Birds don't leave tracks in the sky. So it's just like a metaphor for a flow state. No blockages, which is like the Zen aspect.
Yes. Yeah. Good luck trying to straighten all that shit out.
Well, so much of this is all just therapeutic for people who have, I would say, in some ways, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Oh, almost everybody. That's part of a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not always a disorder. It's a spectrum. It can be a blessing. Actually, I've got what I call FCD, which is focused, committed disposition, and it's sort of like OCD in some ways, but except I'm focused on some really interesting shit instead of not stepping in the cracks of the sidewalk or making sure that I turn the oven off or something.
Mm-hmm.
So FCD is my superpower. OCD can be destructive.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what trichinosis is?
Has something to do with pork, doesn't it?
I think it's also like I have to Google it to confirm it, but I think it's like people who pull their hair out.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was thinking of some disease.
No, I think that's the pig disease, I think, too. I'd have to, I don't know, I'm not going to Google
Oh, whatever, yeah. There are all sorts of interesting, OCD symptoms, I've got a few minor ones that are, not particularly helpful, but they're trivial and, so it's not an issue. I'm lucky that I got 3 really good ones.
And do you think you've ever seen a miracle in your life?
Well, I've had one experience that I just have no way to explain. I'm not sure I'd call it a miracle, but, it was just off the charts weird. So, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a miracle necessarily.
Well, what was the experience?
A dream that turned out to be true. I had a dream one night, and it was anyway, a guy got killed on a motorcycle in this dream, but it was a really disturbing dream. It woke me up. I was unable to go back to sleep for like an hour, or it was really a very disturbing dream and very real. It was unlike any dream I've ever had before. Anyway, I went back to sleep, and by the morning when I woke up, I'd forgotten about it. But the next day, I get a phone call from. It's a long story. Anyway, the son of a guy I was studying to be a piano tuner at the time. So I had this guy I was apprenticed to. His son was killed on a motorcycle at the exact time I had that dream.
Wow.
But it was completely different circumstances. In reality, he was on the freeway and he got a flat tire and he dropped the bike and he was run over by a truck behind him.
Mhm.
And in the dream, it was a train. It was a guy doing weird shit. I mean, it was completely different circumstance. And yet, there you go. What the hell do you make out of that? I don't know. And I didn't even know the guy. I mean, I don't think I'd ever even met him.
Mhm.
I knew his father. You know, I mean, because I spent a couple days a week in his garage, you know, rebuilding pianos.
Mhm.
But I don't remember us ever really talking about his son or anything. It's weird, just strange that would have happened.
Mhm. I don't think I've seen a miracle or like had any. I've never had any dreams that have some kind of correlation or like.
Yeah. Well, I never have either. This is a one-up deal for me. I would say it's the only thing in my life that is sort of unsettled.
Mm. I mean, I know people that have passed on in pretty traumatic ways, which are extremely disturbing, especially when you witness it or see it and you see death up close.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different thing, man. That's not many people have that opportunity.
Well, if you work in the medical industrial, I guess you do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you see it every day, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, depending upon what department you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, mortality. That's a big one.
Yeah, I remember my uncle said to me once, he's like, "Oh, you had your first taste of mortality." I was like, "Yeah, shit, you're right." It's the first time I've ever experienced, that medical situation where it's an emergency and you're like, "Oh, my life is being threatened here." But what was I was going to ask you is not about miracles, but like, have you ever experienced like synchronicity where you're like, wow, I can't believe all this, happened in succession?
Oh,
Just the way
my
it did.
whole life seems like that to me now. I mean, Alan Watts just came blasting into my life out of nowhere. It's like the universe imposed itself on me. So, yeah.
I was thinking about him today because there's so much stuff about, well, I don't know. We just live in such a crazy polarized time, and maybe it's always been like that, but Watts, I get the feeling that Watts and his philosophy and his background, being from England and having that accent and his Buddhist, anyways, I'm just saying that America was like the perfect garden for him to thrive.
Yeah. It was, he landed. He still is having a huge impact. People are still learning about him now and listening.
Yep. A lot of Christians really learn Christianity from him.
Really?
Yeah, because
Why are they still Christians?
Because they never got the big message, the big picture message. The big picture message of Jesus is that you too are.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's a difference between understanding the concept and getting it. And a lot of people understand the concept, but they haven't got a clue. They don't get it. It's just an idea, a theory in their head that they like.
Well, it is all theoretical. I mean, it's.
No, not until you get it.
But you can get it, but you're still so susceptible to, aches and pains and everything else.
Oh, that's a whole separate issue. Yeah, but that's just, you got to deal with your sensory data, whatever that is, you deal with it. But your maps aren't getting in the way if you're dealing effectively with whatever it is you're dealing with.
Well, anyways, I mean, it's just, you witness so much friction in conversations and communication.
Oh, yeah, amongst the Homo sapiens, yes. Yeah, they love that shit, well, especially here in Clubhouse.
My mom was describing to me what I would consider like psychotic or even just like delusional thinking. It's just amazing how aggressive we are. You know, you look at animals,
Oh, you mean those
humans.
Homo sapiens?
Yeah, Homo sapiens. Yeah.
We, or you still identify as one of those, huh? Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, compared to the natural world, you don't see bees, complaining, fighting. You don't see flowers fighting. You just
Well, you do see shit. I mean, stuff goes wrong. There are problems in all aspects of reality. You know, things bump against each other, but it works out.
yeah.
Okay. You know.
Yeah, I would call that bumping into each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're at a turning point in Earth's history right now. I mean, the next 20 years to the outside, we're going to see the total reformation of this Earth. A new civilization is emerging, and an old one is collapsing. Right as we arrive, perfect timing.
Do you think that's what's always happening? It's just generational then?
I think this has been a moment that we've been moving towards for 4 billion years. I think Earth is a living organism with its own developmental natural phases, and it's going through a kind of metamorphosis right now. And we are embedded subsystems.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's not the only map, but that's the map at that level. I mean, for me personally, there's other maps that are, but on the larger level, that's the way I see it.
You know, in terms of like brain science, or brain experiences, or brain hacking, or brain synthesis, like ways to use your brain, which is not ordinary. And what I'm trying to say is that like I've had experiences where it's almost like I'm above the witness, or I am essentially like aware of my awareness, in this weird, like the whole duality versus non-duality.
And this is precisely the area that cannot be captured with language.
Right.
And that's really frustrating because you want to make sense of it, you want to fit it into a story, and you can, but you have to make up a story that works for you.
Yeah.
Because there isn't anything out there that again, like I use metamorphosis to try and understand what's happening on Earth. I mean, that's clearly not what's happening on Earth, but it's the best model. Embryology and metamorphosis are the only models that I have to try to understand this larger system.
Well, I guess it's just gnosis is what I'm describing. Like the ancient Babylonian symbol is a chicken head man, where it's the face of a man with a chicken head coming out of his like top of his head, meaning that either it's two brain halves or one consciousness, or Anyways, I'm just saying, like symbolically, it might be possible to represent it, but not through words, but through a symbol.
Well, you can use words too. It's just that words are, again, you just have to recognize the limitations there. That words won't do it, but they can point sometimes beyond themselves. And that's the difference between poetry and analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Analysis is crucial, but limited. And poetry is pretty sloppy, but it can go all sorts of interesting places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you just can't confuse those two. Poetry is one thing, and analysis is something else, and they're both useful.
I wonder what it was like before, IBM, where everything was books. Electricity was just taking off. And so, therefore, if you were intelligent, you were fully immersed in books. But then I guess there's a question of access and what you're reading and what you're doing.
I just have been, you're calling yourself a musician. I'm a big fan of Haydn's piano trios. And I studied music in college. I have a degree in music, and I've been thinking about it recently. And I started talking to ChatGPT, and I found out something that I never knew before. Haydn made about I think it says like between 30 and 40% of his income from selling sheet music for amateur musicians who at home in the evening got together and played Haydn piano trios instead of listening to the Beatles or whoever's getting together with your friends and listening to somebody else do music. They got together in the evenings and performed music. And they had their friends over. And there was a whole society in London and Vienna built about this. There's a whole collection, a culture of amateur musicians who were really good. And it was this emerging middle class that,
Wow.
because of the Industrial Revolution. Their parents had enough money to afford a piano, and the kids could afford to spend time studying piano because they didn't have TV or radio or any other damn thing to do. They had books, but there was this whole society of people who played music together with their friends instead of listened to it. I can't imagine a world like that.
I think people, I don't know, society is rapidly decayed.
This is, it worked for a while, but this is the end of the civilization that has emerged in the beginning of the first global civilization.
I mean, I live in a part of Chicago called Jefferson Park, and there's a big gymnasium here called Jefferson Park, Field House. It's Chicago Park District building, very large. And once a week, I see, a whole orchestra gather to go in there to practice together.
Oh, cool.
And
Cool.
most beautiful women, and it's so interesting when you see them.
How big a group is it?
I've never actually been in it, but I assume it's at least 30 people.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Why can't you go in and listen?
I could. I just so busy with what I'm doing here that I feel like, I would like to listen to it. But anyways, actually in December, coming up soon, there's the Chicago Symphony very close by. I got to try to get a ticket for that one.
Yeah.
That's at what's called the Copernicus Center, which is
I generally don't like live concerts because the audio is usually terrible. Good audio on my computer is way better than anything you're ever going to hear at a concert hall. Unless there's some special reason, some performer who's got some live in-person thing going that makes it worth. But if it's just to listen to an orchestra perform, I would never go to it. A concert. It's a shitty sound.
It's very affordable. It's tomorrow at 7.
What are they playing?
It's just called the Citywide Symphony Holiday Concert.
Oh, but there's no list of the music they're playing? It's probably from the Nutcracker.
It's at a Polish amphitheater, so. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I'd like to do that. I'd like to have a date to go.
Yeah. What we really want to do is get laid after that.
Oh, before it, after it, in the morning of the next day.
Okay, let's move on to the next subject.
So I, think that all communication is hypnosis, and I could give examples of that.
Yeah, no, I've got no problem with that.
Interesting, when I try to ask people to participate in an experiment, some people are very resistant. Some people are open to the suggestion and the fun of the hypnosis experiment. But other people immediately resist it, and they're not, they will not participate.
That's well, you know to expect that. Just move on. Just identify them as quickly as possible and get them off the stage.
Yeah. It's also interesting pointing out to people that they've, just participated in a hypnosis experiment, and then when you ask them, when you point out to them when you pointed out to them that they just did what you asked them to do and what they're doing prior to that, they are modifying their behavior in a way which is their personality. So, anyways, it's just the way people present themselves in their speech. And,
Well, of course, people are also multiple. You know, they have different selves for different situations. They're one way with their mother, and another way with a coworker, and another way with their lover, and they don't have to worry about transgressing things. I mean, it's all automatic who they are in each of those situations. We're all multiple personalities. The problem with people who are diagnosed with multiple personalities is that they don't have enough. They lost the ability to generate new ones. So by the time they hit their early 20s and they move out of their home, they can't generate new personalities. They got a bunch of immature children, basically, and they're, you know, within a year or two, they're fucked up. Healthy people, you know, if you change jobs, you're awkward as hell for a week or two, but you know, after a while, you develop a new self that works in that environment. We do that consistently. You know, we constantly work into the new situations and develop patterns to deal with them. But some people lost that ability, and then we call them multiple personality disorder. But it's just the opposite. They don't have enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you view the self as being the universe, it's infinite. So I've heard Alan Watts.
Big self, you mean? Okay, I was talking about little self.
Well, little self can mirror big self. I'm just saying, if you don't realize that, you don't get that. Everything is a little bit performative in a way. I mean, I see doctors shooting advertisements, and I can't stop laughing because I'm like, you know, that's performative. You know, like those two people aren't going to get me in the gym. You know, so it's like I'm just saying communication. Everybody is, you know, a human being, and when people make advertisements, yeah.
Everybody is. Well, not everybody. But even if you're not marketing, then that becomes a form of marketing.
Right. Well, I mean, the cell phone has just changed communication in such a crazy way that credibility is created from the phone as opposed to like what's actually in the person. And
oh yeah, and that does work. I mean, and we're finding that out. That's not a problem. That's all going to collapse. There's only one way you can really have a relationship with someone, and that's the way we're doing it right now, by talking to one another and doing it over a period of time.
Yeah.
You know, typing messages back and forth. That's, I mean, that's fun, I guess. I don't know. I don't spend any time doing that, but you know, that's not communication. That's not getting to know somebody or thinking about anything. That's just, well, it's just Homo sapiens misbehaving, or just no, that's just what they do. That's what the old species does. They don't have a clue about what's actually happening here.
Well, also, I think you can get fooled very easily in communication and not realize you're talking to a ghost or a scam or, you know, somebody in Nigeria. And
well, you can be fooled if you, yeah, most people, you're right, most people can be fooled. I'm really hard to fool now. I mean, I used to be fooled. I mean, I'm quite aware of what you're saying. It's been a long time since I've been fooled.
Yeah.
It's possible, I'm sure, but it would take quite an undertaking, or some very special, you know, I don't know what it would take, but certainly it's possible. But again, I'm not identified with the voice in my head. I listen to it. And I hear when it's full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice it. And if it's significant, I deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying anything specific about you. I'm just thinking about.
No. It's true for almost everybody, though. You're right. I mean, most people literally are a bunch of brain damaged language monkeys, totally under the spell of the voice in their head and hypnotized by it.
Well, it's not just the voice in your head. It's what you're listening to outside of the head.
Well, it's all of that. It's everything. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny though. I think the voice in the head is probably the. it's hard to say, like, whether the voice in the head is more problematic than the voices you hear outside of the head or what's transmitted in, because it is just one unified system.
The inside is most important.
So the
Because that will determine how you interpret what you're getting from the outside.
So from a therapeutic perspective, if somebody is having depressive symptoms and negative self-speech, if you want to condition that person and suggest to them, intelligent ways of dealing with their emotions, etc., programming them with, like, I was working with this girl today, and I said, say out loud, the more I think. She repeated after me word to word. This was like a hypnosis session that she agreed to. And the statement is, the more I think, the more I speak, the further from the truth I'm going to get. And then, explain to me, what does that mean? And so that's where you can test comprehension and understanding of that maxim, you might call it.
Yeah. I don't have any general rules. I just have to talk to, because some people aren't going to respond. Some people have organic issues, especially in depression. How do you get it fixed by changing the way you talk if it's an organic issue? If it's not, then they're game for my stuff. But yeah, there's lots of approaches to this. But depression is something I've come to, at least most of the things I've run into, is I think it's largely organic. They've got some chemical imbalance, and talking about it doesn't seem to make much difference.
Well, not talking about it, but talking about the true self as opposed to your obsessive compulsive, personality projection.
Well, that's good. Like I said, my sense is that talking like that to the people, any impact whatsoever, they hear it, they come back the next day with exactly the same attitude, the same thing. Nothing makes any difference to them. And my sense is, because it's not totally talk related, there's maybe some organic issue here that needs to be dealt with. Chemicals can make a huge difference. I mean, Prozac made a huge difference in a large number of people's lives. It got out of control after that. But for some people, that they've been struggling with years with all sorts of shit, and after a month on Prozac, they didn't have that problem anymore. Period. It was gone. But that was rare.
You mean depressive episodes?
I mean, people who were diagnosed as being depressed. I don't remember all the MDS categories for all this shit, but back then it was depression. That was the major thing that Prozac was in for. And it had a huge impact on a small percentage of people.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I got out of the Army, I had totally debilitating back pain, hunched over with
Shit.
And it wasn't from a military accident. It was just a mind-body disorder.
Yeah. Really? A mind-body? Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've ever read Dr. John Sarno's How to Cure Your Back Pain, but mind-body meaning that I just had built up sadness, built up rage, built up anger, had a lot of repressed emotion. But also I think it was just a lack of like yoga and, basic yoga, consistent, maybe even, a lot more was needed physically. Just saying that.
Well, yeah, maybe you just abused your back and it was paying you back and you wised up and started taking care of it.
Well, it was like compulsive. The crazy thing is I had so much money saved, but yet I'm still working nonstop. I was stressing myself out. Yeah, it was really stupid.
You're not doing that now, right?
No.
Okay, good. Congratulations.
No, I would say also the thing that I was lacking was wisdom, like access to wisdom books, let alone continuing education. I agree, but what I'm saying at that time, I don't think I was doing that much continuing education in terms of reading and. So anyways, that's why I say when I say my body, I mean that my brain was inducing the back pain to course correct maybe behavior, and try to force the issue of like a conscious awakening or something.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Yeah.
Or a conscious
Examine these
expansion.
things.
Yeah, because I meet people that have back pain, shoulder pain, foot pain, like, and so much of it could, there's just so many reasons possibly why. It could be breathing. It could be, so
Yeah.
it's something interesting to meet when you
Well,
meet
I say
somebody.
something. See, I've got a lot of back pain myself. I mean, my shit is all organic. It's going to require some surgery at some point, maybe. Unless there's a miracle, you never can tell. I'm open to it. But yeah, I've got scoliosis, and I don't know of any way around that.
No, it's, I think it's one of those things you got to work around it, meaning that like.
Yeah, well, it's just there, and so I just arrange my life so that I'm maximally flexible and movable and do the best I can. Walking is a problem. I need a cane. I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem walking around the house. Well, actually, I'm a little unstable. But again, this is all physical stuff that's a result of. I was way overweight for like 30 years, and that just wrecked my lower back. So anyway, I can live with that. I mean, it's just that's what it is,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, I did a very delicate yoga class one time where it was just the most minimal movements. Putting your legs up on a chair. But I do have this strap here at home now that I use on a yoga mat, and I listen to Clubhouse while I'm doing the yoga and doing very intense stretching. And when I listen to these brain dead monkey robots, screech nonstop.
May I suggest that you not subject yourself to those brain damaged language monkeys? You don't need that input, especially while you're doing yoga. I would suggest when you do your yoga, you pay attention to your breathing and how your body feels as you explore those areas of tension and not pain, but that whole transitional area. Stop listening to Clubhouse. Maybe listen to some good music.
Well, I was kind of going to crack a joke, but I do use Suno, and oh god, this is the smartest thing I don't know if this could be like the smartest thing I've ever done, but I know it's not that smart. But so my friend messaged me. He says, listening to your music, and this one song really, really, stuck in my head. I couldn't stop it. Stop thinking about it. Stop singing it to myself. So
was it one you created?
Yeah, I created it.
Yeah, okay.
The lyrics are: take the deepest breath of the day and hold it for 10 seconds. 10, not 11, 10, not 9. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Take the deepest breath. And I did variations of it.
Right, yeah.
But what's interesting about it is when you're listening to a song that constantly tells you to keep breathing, sure enough, because all communication is hypnosis, you start breathing more listening to a song about doing breathing.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've been messing around a little bit with Suno myself, and I'm thinking I may be able to use it in this course that I'm going to be teaching for exercise, certain kinds of mental exercise, and you just clued me into another way I might be able to use it.
Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was putting in other statements like mixing it in, saying love is the law, love under will, and taking kind of spiritual maxims and peppering the breathing exercise.
Yeah, it's interesting how you can. I just put in plain text. I mean, it was a joke. Actually, it's a long story anyway, but it takes about 3 minutes to tell the joke, and that was what I just wrote it as a joke. There's no rhyme, there's no nothing. It's just a joke, but it turned it into this great ballad. It's just amazing. You don't have to even worry about rhyme or anything. You just write any goddamn thing, and it makes it work. It's stunning.
I know that is an amazing part. That is an amazing feature of it, isn't it? How it regulates the voice to.
It makes it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really remarkable.
Actually, it's probably pretty trivial, but
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing is that I think this is pretty much going to be the end of a huge number of popular musicians because the shit that Suno creates is certainly as good as 80% of the popular music that I hear out there.
Mhm.
I don't listen to it that much, but I mean, it's good. I'm impressed. You know, and it's better than a lot of the shit I hear. At least I like it better.
Mhm.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that affects the music industry.
It's not Suno is now a top 100 app, and it's valued at over $3 billion. And
Right. Yeah.
it's gotten even better. Like they keep updating it, but the functionality of it, just it's amazing how people are.
AI is changing the world. I say a new world is on its way. Really, a whole new fucking civilization is emerging. This is typical of it, of what's going to happen. We're free. We will be free in 20 years or less.
You know what's interesting about the command prompts is I feel people are so timid and they're not used to asking or demanding what they want. But in an AI environment, you can truly demand whatever you can think. And so that is, to me, like the most liberating aspect of talking to Grok or talking to Suno and writing in what I want. That and also you can on X you can message anyone, which is really what Alan Watts was. Alan Watts was so ahead of his time when he was talking about the internet. He's like, in the future you'll be able to ping anybody, immediately, instant. And so X.
You can't really do that, Donnie. You can, but the chances that they're actually the person you really want to get to is actually going to get your message.
Well, they may not get it immediately, but in 3 weeks or even 3 years, it's possible that they go back and actually look at the notifications.
Yeah, but that's no good for, like I say, I'm involved in various projects and stuff, and I'm seriously attempting to get or communicate with several people in the AI and linguistics area, and getting a hold of these people is not easy. I got their email addresses at the universities, but clearly they're getting hundreds of emails a day.
Right.
Okay. And they're not reading through all of those things. They've got somebody whose job is to go through that shit and figure out which ones to give to him and which ones to trash.
Mm-hmm.
So I just emailed 2 things off today. We'll see whether they get through. I have no idea.
I would take your Gendo, the thing that I read that one time where I was like, I should turn this into an audiobook for him. But just
which one are you talking about?
It was like all your quotes and sayings that you had stored up.
All the quotes. That's a perfect. You're right. That's a perfect. Oh shit! That's so obvious. Why didn't I think? Thank you for coming in and telling me that.
Yeah.
That's so fucking obvious. Yeah, I've got all the fucking text I could possibly ever need.
You had a lot. It was amazing. Exactly. Yeah. If you feed that into Suno,
awesome.
That'll be a trip for you because you.
Oh yeah. I can't wait. As soon as I get you offline here, I'm gonna go start looking and seeing. Which ones are we gonna? Thing is, I'm not paying for it, so I got pretty limited usage of it.
What's amazing too is when you do. The lowest tier package is $10. That's about 250 songs. But the speed at which. $10.
$10. What, a month is that or what?
Yeah, it's month to month. You can cancel.
Okay, so you can get it. So the cheapest on Suno is $10 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, well I may have to. Okay, go on.
So what's amazing is if you are on your phone and you got your Gendo open or you're on some poetry website, the speed at which you can just dump song after song. I mean, I can literally create like one song every. Anyways, I'm just saying that it doesn't limit you. It's amazing.
Exactly what you're saying.
It's just
amazing.
It's amazing. It's.
And like I say, the stuff it produces is as good as 80% of the stuff I hear on the radio.
I know. Isn't it just mind-boggling?
Yeah.
It's and I think about all these people in churches and religious organizations that spent so many years in choir and practicing and and what should work.
Well, see, that's still great. There's still room for real musicians doing real music because that's cool in and of itself.
it's very cool, and you know, it is Zen, and it's very.
And what is the difference in capitalism is the thing that fucks everything up here. It's fucking money. If it wasn't for money, this wouldn't even be. There would be no issues about any of this stuff. People would make music or art because they love making music and art, and you know they get famous if everybody else likes it, but it would have nothing to do with money or livelihood or anything like that.
Well,
That's the new world we're moving into.
what I find so interesting about communication in the human brain is when you look at like Milli Vanilli or Britney Spears, they were all these musicians lip sync, whether they're on the stage at the Super Bowl or they're. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is what's interesting is if you were a I know this musician, she put on her, and she's pretty successful, but she still posted, I effing hate AI music. But to me, I think she just needs to open up a new profile and start creating new AI music under a different corporate name or a different brand name. It's like, why are you angry about it? You're not even experimenting.
Why don't you? Yeah, I don't waste my time trying to convince people that they should be excited about this. If they got that, I got more fun things to do than worry about holding their hand and all their anxiety about this shit. Fuck them.
Also, I think with Suno, what would be interesting. So there's a video functionality in there. I tried to upload a video, it didn't work, but I'm gonna try again. But the video functionality of it is interesting. But what would also be interesting is if you create a script and you hire an actress to lip sync your script and create a music video, but using what you think is your awesome song. It's just kind of an interesting way to try to test it because you're really every time you submit a video to YouTube, you're really testing the algorithm and the actual response. So in terms of like film theory, video theory, sound theory, what is the optimal blend between picture and sound? Multiple pictures as a film. So as an engineer, how do you reverse engineer a brain's response to what it's seeing, and if you can do it at scale and at quality. Anyways, I'm just saying that Suno is like must be mind-blowing for musicians who have spent their whole lives making music, and when you see how it I don't know how to think about it.
That's going to change. Again, this is going to change because the difference is between consuming music and creating music, okay? You're still consuming it. You're not creating it. You're writing some lyrics, but you're not creating music. You're not a musician.
Right.
Okay? But there are people who are musicians.
Right.
And they get together and jam and improvise and have fun inventing new music on the spot. That's a great joy and art. And that'll never go away. Okay? That's there. It's just a separate issue. That's there. Now you've got the Suno shit. And anybody can take any fucking lyrics. They don't even have to write them themselves. And they can ask Suno to write the lyrics for them.
No, you can't. Well, maybe you can. I don't know.
Yes, you can. You can tell it subject matter, I think, can't you?
I mean, I actually haven't done that.
I don't know. But in any case.
You're probably right. I actually haven't done
Well,
that.
whatever. And again, you can just paste something and you copy it out of the newspaper. It doesn't really make any difference. And it's something that's as good as 80% of the shit I hear on the radio. How the hell do you deal with that? What are you supposed to think about that? If I can sit here and copy some text out of the newspaper and create a song that's better than 80% of the bullshit that's out there already, well, what the fuck?
Well, that kind of isn't it weird how we consume all this content, all this media, but then when you see with the click of a button and your product is just as good as all the stuff you've ever listened to. I'm not saying I have buyer's remorse because a lot of the content I have viewed my whole life is just amazing stuff.
Well, it was a different time. You didn't have any options then. Now it's different. You can't compare them.
So this is just for music, but there will come a time, I assume, when you'll be able to make movies just out of your
Oh, and listen, it's already here. You can do it already. Short movies that are 30 seconds or 2 minutes or something, but no, it's already here.
Sora, yeah. Have you used
5
Sora?
years from now, like I say, there's a new, probably there won't be any more Well, there will still be actors. There will still be actors, and there will still be plays on stages for people. That's still a thing, you know. But for movies, my sense is that that may become totally generated without any. I mean, that directors obviously, the director and writer, but the AI will actually make the whole goddamn movie. But again, there will be people who want to make movies too. That's just a separate. They're just different things. That's all.
God, you know, it's amazing is I had this restaurant review business where I was filming restaurant reviews, and then I started hiring people who were also like legit filmmakers. Either they went to film school or, you know, they and when I would watch their edits, when I would watch their edits, I was like, wow, it's like this is so much better than what I can do and what I do. I'm the laziest, you know, editor in the world. Like it was amazing. So, anyways, I'm just trying to think like, would it be possible in some way to actually recruit and hire people to sit there and make AI videos on your platforms that can be monetized? You know, and do
I
it.
think within a couple of years, you won't need those people. You just do it yourself. You just
Well, what I'm saying is, if
tell it what you want, and you'll have it 2 years from now.
well, what I'm saying is, if I'm so good at it, I mean, and I know that other people are better than me, it should be possible to hire people to sit there and work 8 hours a day and pay them $20 an hour to sit there and create videos because they're generating, you know, $50 an hour, right? You know.
Listen, is your sole person in life making money?
No, but I like the concept of like mass producing art, like Andy Warhol, you know, his Silver Factory.
Well, that's what I'm doing with my. Do you know about the project that I'm doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess no, not really.
The imaginary landscapes thing and the website. Have you been there?
No.
Oh.
I mean, is it in your profile thing with your link?
No, but I'm going to paste it in here. I'll put it in the chat. So here we are. Where is the chat? Is that the chat? Yes, that's the chat. Okay, there is a link. This is the site I've got this huge art project that's aimed at the corporate world to fill up their corridors and their conference centers and stuff. They buy lots of art in mass, and that's what this is aimed at. And so this is the site that I'm going to direct. There are maybe 10 companies in the world that are the main suppliers of art to the corporate world on the planet. So I'm only going to send this to maybe 10 or 15 companies.
Oh, yeah, I know you. This is your library, basically.
Well, this is my sales pitch to the corporate world. So.
Oh wow.
Basically, well, anyway, that's just about done. Within another couple weeks, probably, I'm going to start sending this out and see what happens. It could be really amazing, or it could be just a dull thud when it hits the floor. So I have no idea how anybody's going to respond to this.
Let me show you what my aunt does. She has been painting people's pets for 30 years.
Well, and how do they get the paint off those pets? They have to take them to the car with the pet wash afterwards.
Yeah, so she's on all these websites where she sells her prints.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she makes a living doing that?
My mom is her harshest critic, but I'm looking at what she does, and maybe you'll like the art. It's pretty impressive, in my opinion.
Wait, does she make a living doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to put a link in the...
Yeah, let me get you the link.
Chat there.
I've never actually Googled. This is the first time I've Googled her art, and it came up right away. My mom has a really nice piece of like a Mexican, Southwest old. It's very weird. at Saunders Point. She's on this e-commerce platform called Fine Art America. Maybe you could list your catalog.
No, I'm not selling to individuals. I'm selling. I want to sell 200 pieces at a time.
Well, anyways, that's the link because I just googled my aunt's name.
Oh my shit! Oh, let's see what happens. Okay, this is okay. These are pictures. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. She's got her own style, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yep, very distinct. It's her every painting.
Oh yeah, okay. The color, yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, she's got a really identifiable view. Yeah, she likes purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are real. That's because they're identifiable.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
these are prints.
Yeah, I assume this website might even print them, and then however you.
Yeah, right. They don't print them until somebody wants it, buys it. Yeah.
Maybe they have framing service. I don't know. There's a gallery near my house. She's been there. I think she said 50 years. Polish woman who's basically just like a local art broker.
Yeah.
But she has like a framing business there, and she really does it, and really, God, she has so many frames, old frames. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I used to be sort of involved in that world for a couple of years, but God, I'm so happy to just do digital shit now. I don't want anything to do with frames and other people. Again, if this deal works, then I won't have to deal with any of that shit. That's what the company is for. They will deal with the printing and framing and delivery of all that shit. And for me, the fun is just doing the art. Making money on it is just an afterthought.
Yeah. One project I did with this guy that I met on a forum called Wicked Fire. It's like a group of online advertisers and publishers that work in direct response mostly. Across like a lot of different categories. It could be car insurance. It could be. Anyways, I can't believe it. The site is still up. But anyways, we figured we were advertising ringtones, and so we created a product that if you say you put in 1,000 keywords like Mariah Carey or Britney Spears, it would create 8 banner images with all of Google's format sizes. And so we were mass uploading all these automated banner images into Google and running ads on corresponding websites. And acting as like a broker or a media buyer on behalf of the advertiser. And that guy that I worked with, I couldn't stand him though. And that's like a me thing. But I couldn't stand him, so I ended up ending the business relationship. But he went on to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And that was.
He's still an asshole.
I don't know if he was an asshole. It could have been me who was the asshole, probably.
Well, you could have both been assholes.
Could have both been assholes. But anyways, it was just, I didn't play it right because, he was the real talent. He was a real software developer.
Yeah.
And I could never, maybe I shouldn't have even have asked him, okay, how do you do this? Like, maybe he could have actually taught me what he was doing. But I guess it was a me thing because I had no patience at the time.
Well, that was you then. You learned. That's sort of the point of life. Is you do stupid things, and if you're paying attention, you don't do. You do something different next time, and see how that works. And that's a process that goes on throughout your entire life. If you're continuing to grow and learn.
Yeah, what I find interesting about working with a software developer is basically whatever you can think of and whatever you can put on paper, a software developer or a designer can technically, put on the internet. So whether it's programmatic and software, this is one more interesting thing I'll tell you that maybe is of interest to you. At Google, I worked at Google as a contractor, and so let's say Procter and Gamble or some other major corporation, well, they tasked me with building out this bed bug spray, an advertising campaign for bed bug spray. And you can just Google search and find out where all the bed bugs are. You know, it's in the Rust Belt. But what my point is Google has this internal tool called Wildcat. And if you just put in the term bed bugs, it'll give you all the associated keywords that are relevant to bed bug and the search volume, you know, monthly, yearly, 5 years, etc. And the time, the date, you know, the year, like everything associated to that keyword in Google's databases comes up. And then you can even
You have to pay for this, I assume. Is this available to anybody or what?
there are corresponding tools on the outside that have reverse engineered it, and you can pay a monthly fee to get access to.
Okay.
It's called like Keyword Spy or something. I can't remember what it's
Yeah.
called. But anyways, what's just so fascinating is associated keywords because those are people's thoughts, and you can actually really see so like especially in terms of e-commerce, you can really see what people are thinking.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot. Well, that's why AI is so smart. It's all there.
Right.
It's all out there.
Google is amazing, you know, like this AI war. So when you're working with a Google product now, it will come up and give you AI suggestions and all kinds of alternative ideas that you would never do.
Yeah.
And it's just forcing the AI creation tools into your workflow. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yep. It's coming. No stopping it. Yeah. 5 years.
But what's coming? Because I mean, right now it's like a creative boom. If you're a creative person, it's like you have all the
Well,
tools.
a huge amount of unemployment is going to come out of this. That's going to create all sorts of interesting stuff, which is quite unpredictable.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, but you know,
Homelessness is a major problem. I saw this tiny village that they built, and I think it was like 30 tiny houses.
yeah, I saw an article about the same thing. I think probably the thing that is catching on. Yeah, we've got solutions for all this shit. We can do it. You know, it's going to take a little while, but it is, like I say, as the old order gets shakier, more and more people are going to be rethinking things and opening up a little bit. And hopefully it'll be a not too bloody a transition.
I don't think it'll be bloody.
Oh, it's already bloody. Jesus Christ, man. Look at the newspaper.
No, I mean domestically in the United States.
Oh, fuck the United States. This is Earth. This isn't the United States we're talking about.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's at a turning point.
So, I mean, if China has 2.5 billion people, you could only imagine that. You know what's funny about China is their manufacturing quality. It just decreases in quality, not exponentially. But
Really? God, the stuff I've gotten from China is excellent. So I guess maybe depends on what you're getting and where.
well, what I'm saying is they cut corners in using cheaper material and different manufacturing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, if there is, you know, what do you call humans an androcyte?
Huh?
You call humans ants or androcytes? Star sites, what are they called?
Oh, no, they're astrocytes.
Astrocytes.
In the brain, yeah. They perform a similar function for Earth that astrocytes perform for our brain.
Well, if there's an astrocyte implosion on the planet, I mean, the most dangerous I could only imagine India, China, like Bangladesh, anywhere where I don't know. See, you've been to the third world, right? I mean, you've been to Vietnam.
No, well, I've been to Vietnam, but that was a different planet.
Well, different planet in terms of a third world standard of. You know,
well, I mean, it was war. You know, you're not talking about. You know. Well, anyway,
I'm just saying that the third world lifestyle is a little more zen because it's a lot less words. Maybe like if you're pulling carrots, but still having a delicious meal in a moderate house, in a farm in India, because half the planet still lives outside of major cities.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and I don't know much about them, and I don't know who knows much about them because they're sort of off the grid. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to all play out. It's going to be interesting to see
Mhm.
what happens.
Well, my theory is, and Alan Watts was suggesting that the only reason we had a Great Depression was because we stopped printing.
Oh, listen, who cares? I don't want to. Yeah.
Well, the only point I have is that it's possible, because you said it's going to be a bloodbath or like a civil
Well,
war.
no, I didn't say that. I said it could be. Well, it already is a bloodbath right now. There are all sorts of wars going on. People getting murdered, bombed every day.
I know.
So,
So, anyways, then I have to go back to my ultimate fundamental point or belief, which is there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe.
right. Yeah. Let's just make that a good, reasonable assumption. You don't have to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept it as one reasonable assumption. It might be applicable in certain circumstances.
Well, I talk to people every day who are I think you can call them hypocrites, but they're.
I call them brain damaged language monkeys.
Well, when you talk to a faceless individual, you don't know their health problems, you don't know where they're living.
No, anything except what I hear.
Exactly, and so it's kind of interesting how someone who is very intelligent and knows a lot of words, especially about the law and legal cases. Anyways, you can do a diagnostic on somebody's intelligence just within the first couple seconds or couple minutes.
Sure,
it's like beauty. It's like beauty. You can when you see a beautiful woman, it's like easily identifiable. Anyways, my point is, I don't know. There's I don't know. I guess I kind of like to make fun of people or roast them.
How old are you?
42.
Okay, go ahead.
And the reason why I like to roast people is because they don't get the cosmic universal joke, and they're so wound up about, let's just say, Smurfs or some racial identity politic. They're so concerned about a certain group of people who they view as being mischievous.
Let me ask you something. Why are you so concerned about them?
Because if you're like a Bodhidharma or a Bodhisattva and you've obtained joy or enlightenment, and you see people who are repeating themselves 100 plus.
Yeah, of course. Creating all the misery that they can absorb.
Well, I just feel like it's kind of fun to tease them because, in a way, I mean, if you believe all communication is hypnosis, then everything I say is essentially a suggestion. But
teasing is better than pitying them.
Well, it's not like it's not like I'm really making fun of people. I'm trying to essentially play the fool or the court jester to make them realize there's something else happening here that I'm missing out on.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to whenever if I'm talking to somebody, whenever I think they're expecting me to do, I try to come from the opposite direction. I mean, not always, but I usually try to foil whatever it is they're expecting.
I mean, that's the Tao. I am a definite contrarian, and my investment hypothesis has always been a contrarian type of attitude. But today I was.
Well, for me.
It can work well, but if you're not, I heard Robert F. Kennedy say.
You don't have to be an asshole.
Exactly.
You can still be polite. I was an asshole for more years than I needed to be.
Yeah.
It was useful because it kept people away from me that I didn't want to interfere with. So it worked, but I realized eventually that it's better if people like me than if they think I'm an asshole.
I agree. I heard Kennedy say, "I want people to know what I mean without being mean." So that soft-spoken voice can carry you far if it's intelligent.
Well, like I say, I think there's going to be a whole lot of serendipity in the next decade. I think things are coming together in unexpected ways. Connections are being made and new structures are forming. I hope that's what I'm going to see. That's what I'm looking for anyway.
I was in a room on this app and I was like, how are there so many stupid people in all the positions of power? And somebody had a term to describe that as if that's an actual paradox. There's a term for it. I don't remember what he said, but it's suggestion. I mean, anyways, politics is very difficult. I've been removed from the ballot. Um, I'm going to try to write an appeal to the Illinois election state board. I mean, I basically already have, but they've removed me from the ballot, and now I have to submit a write-in candidacy by January 15th. And I'm not sure if there's a certain number of write-ins that I need to get. Well, anyways, it'll be anyways, it's the primary. So I'm going to lose the primary, but anyways, that's the whole thing. The whole thing is like a racket. And today I have this like 35 document on objections to petitions for challengers. It's a very thick document. Every page is completely filled top to bottom, and there's so many definitions. So I know this.
And you're going to do this? You're going to do all this?
No, I'm pretty much done. I'm done with all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, like fuck that.
Well, what I'm saying
The United
is,
States will be gone in a few years. Fuck them, man. That's not where the future is.
well, when I hear them say, even though now that I thought about it, I was like, actually, it's kind of smart. If they put data centers in outer space, they're definitely going to be doing that. There are so many people.
Why would they put them in outer space? Why would they go to the expense of that?
Because that's the insanity. That's the stupidity that I'm talking about. That it's like, if you can think it, they will do it, and they're already going to outer space.
Who is this they that you're talking to? Who is this?
SpaceX, Google, IBM, everybody. I mean, it's fucking.
No, that is economically stupid. They're not that stupid. Why would they build those fucking big, huge things out in space when they can just build them here?
Well, look at Starlink. It's already here. They're already doing it.
Starlink's a separate issue.
It's technically a data center.
You could look at. Yeah, who knows what was possible? I don't see. Well, anyway, that's just not even an issue.
Well, when I saw that article, I started laughing. It said, so they did this article. It was like the New York Times. They did this interview, or it was New York Post. I could get you the link.
Well, whatever. Just what was the point?
The point is, I started laughing when I realized it's just clickbait. But then a couple of days later, I started laughing. I was like, God damn it. They probably will start doing that because they're already spending so much money. I saw in Louisiana that the Facebook Meta AI Center will use more energy than the entire state of Louisiana.
No, God. You need to do some better reading.
I don't know if it was annually.
It's just bullshit. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of parts to this puzzle. Energy, everyone's whining about how much energy these setups are taking. It's trivial. We waste so much energy now.
Yeah.
The projections, the most outrageous projections, in 3 years, AI could be taking something like 7% of the total energy output of the planet. Okay, 7%. That's one of the highest predictions. 7% of the total output of energy on the planet for AI. But right now, we waste 30% of the total energy output from stupidity and mismanagement and inefficiency. So they're complaining about 7% on one end, but meanwhile we're dumping 30% of our energy, just wasting it. That's the issue. Quit wasting all that energy. We got plenty of energy for all the AI we could ever need if we just weren't so stupid and wasting all the other energy.
Yeah, I mean, anyways, did you ever have, I mean, when you, like in the 70s, 80s, like how did you view media in the news and propaganda and communication, you know, your time management? Because I don't just call it mind control. I think it's like time control. You know, if, you know, finally people are in a way are free from the CBS, NBC, ABC time control, and thus the mind control. There's so much information out there that is so shocking, and
What you need is a larger perspective. You don't have it. You don't have a bigger system to make sense out of all this shit. So you don't know how to file things. So that's where having this understanding of the planet as a living system undergoing a process that we're embedded in, that gives you a larger context to evaluate the things on other levels. It gives you a way to make a choice. If Earth is like a living organism undergoing metamorphosis, and if humans are sort of like astrocytes, then how does that, if I take that seriously, what does that imply? It's not the only map, but it's certainly one that's quite useful and instructive, I think.
well, I knew this guy that made it once, and he made it big.
Made what big? Good.
Made his life big, his bank account
What
big,
do you mean
his
made
family.
money? Okay, made a lot of money.
But also a great, really incredible disposition, personality.
Okay, yeah. You don't have to be an asshole to be rich.
Yeah, very soft-spoken, mild-spoken family man. And so
Yeah.
at his party, in the Pacific Palisades, overlooking, you know, the Pacific Ocean,
I know where the Palisades are.
yeah, when we left, he gave each of us a CD of him and his band that they recorded in their garage, and it was pretty good. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, oh, so when you have everything, you have,
Whatever the fuck you want.
you know, you create music because that's like the most relaxing,
Well,
fun.
you do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Well, music is, you know, just a nice
Well,
thing
it's
to
not for
do.
everybody. Some people are artists. Some people are sculptors. Some people are athletes. There are many ways to explore your life.
Oh, this was one more thing I wanted to ask you. This was the last thing. So now that you've used Suno and, you know, all your music education, because I really don't know anything about reading music, writing music.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the chords. But what I'm saying is, have you noticed, like, when you listen to Suno, because there's math, I guess, involved in music, writing, or tone, like.
There's music theory. There's a whole bunch of music theory about what chords normally follow other chords, but there's all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so when you think about this from the software developer's perspective on how they're able to synthesize, let's say, you know, a Japanese woman singing opera, and you think about the knowledge that you have with, you know, music theory and all the whatever, like how, and you, because it's just how the F can somebody create code that can synthesize all that in 3 seconds?
No humans wrote the code that does that. They got an AI and they trained an AI on certain stuff and gave the AI instructions on what to do with the data. That's what they did. The AI does it. The people who created the AI don't have a clue how it's done.
So I have another profile on here called AI, and I go around and I say, my name is AI. I am an AI chatbot here to help you. So it's like, It's like the midget in the vending machine. There's the
But
Wizard
that's
of
kind of
Oz.
stupid because real AI sound just as good as you and I. So it certainly wouldn't sound.
No, I'm trying to make it a joke for people where they know right away that I'm pulling it
I
back.
got it. Okay, you weren't trying to convince them that you really were.
No, I want them to think that I'm a schmuck playing a robot. But
Well, you sort of are.
well, the point is, I guess, God, there was something else I wanted to say about that. But anyways, it's is people use the word AI a lot now, all the time, and so it's just software, it's code, it's just code. So how do you view people using the word AI all the time as opposed to saying software code?
I don't think. Listen, I don't listen to most people. Most people are a bunch of brain damaged language monkeys. I don't care what the fuck they say. I don't listen to them.
Well, don't you think even personally using the term AI yourself is like?
Well, I don't use the term AI. I call it SI.
What does that mean?
Silicon intelligence, and humans are carbon intelligence, CI.
Oh, I see.
So we got carbon intelligence and silicon intelligence. They're similar in some ways, but quite different in other ways. But they're both distinct.
Well,
in fact, ChatGPT never uses the term AI, and this is one of the cool things about what it did. I never told it to change. I just told it what I was doing, and that I don't use the word AI anymore. I call it silicon intelligence. And from that time on, this has been like 6 months now, it's never said AI again. It always says SI. It's just, and I didn't even tell it to do that. It just started doing it. Fuck. That is crazy.
So if you look at, like, let's say a Buddhist sitting in some Buddhist palace, this is all hypothetical, meaning like it's like a utopian hypothesis. There was something I read once in a Buddhist book that said, these people chanting these sutras in their mountaintop palace, they've already figured out all the software, all the AI, like that they're, it's kind of a joke, but it's not really a joke, meaning that we are essentially just like repeating it, and it's so compulsive that it's ridiculous.
I don't know what you're talking about, really. I'm really lost.
Meaning like the necessities of life that we're
like what? You mean like water and air,
housing, food, entertainment, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff you need, the basic, okay, so that stuff, yeah.
So this is what it said in this Buddhist book, or it's what Alan Watts said. I can't remember where I read it, but it's just saying that when you chant, the sacred scriptures, they're so advanced and so intelligent that enlightenment is like light years ahead of even what they're doing now with technology.
I have God, that's certainly not Alan Watts. That's just bullshit, as far as I can see. What?
Meaning, we don't need an iPhone 16. We didn't need the iPhone to begin with. We are spamming ourselves, like, because we're just.
Well, listen, humans do all sorts of stupid shit. This technology is fundamental to the new world that's coming. The fact that the bunch of Homo sapiens don't know how to use it, misuse it, and make their lives miserable, that's their fucking problem. The technology is powerful. And we need the technology. But we need to use it intelligently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think just putting all these sacred texts into Suno is so cutting edge.
Oh, I think that's a cool idea. Yeah. I'm in fact, if I don't write this down, I'm going to take a moment and write this down, because otherwise it'll be gone.
Yeah, spend the $10 and then over the course of 3 days, try to create 300 songs or 200 songs. It takes time.
Well, yeah, I'm going to think of it. I'm going to do some thinking first here, and figure out just what. But hold on a second. this could be awesome. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
I was reading about Mark Zuckerberg's new $300 million yacht and his $30 million support craft. So,
$30 million support craft.
yeah, that has a helicopter and a submarine.
Yeah, well, you gotta have your support craft. Hell yes.
I'm thinking like, oh, I gotta submit some
Well,
cutting
you know,
edge.
in one way, it's really good because look at all the people he's putting to work.
Oh, I know it's kind of amazing, you know, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's much better than him just hoarding it.
Oh, I know. I mean,
lavishly as possible. Let's hope.
also the trust you have to have with all your employees in the cabin, and I mean, you know, it's your life. Like it's just amazing. He must be an extremely. I don't know. He seems.
Judo.
Well, I'm just saying he's a pretty impressive person. I mean, personality-wise, like I've never seen him lose his shit on camera.
Yeah, I've never really paid any attention to him, so I don't have an opinion about it one way or another.
Well,
Something about him that I'm not quite comfortable with, but I can't say what it is.
could be the hair. It could be the haircut. It could be. There's a lot of
I
things.
don't know.
People, do you think people that people? I mean, I've changed, and I'm completely bald now, and I have a gray beard. But I mean, people. It's metamorphosis. People transform. Hopefully for the
We're
better.
never the same. You're not the same person who woke up this morning.
There was
You're
something.
older.
There's something in the. I mean, it's just in religious philosophy, but the concept is the greater the evil, the greater the wickedness of the person, the greater the possibility that that person will also do very charitable things because of, you know, the balancing act, you might say.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein.
Donald Trump.
He never done anything good.
Well,
Epstein was really famous in art circles, as, you know, creating situations to, you know, do things and stuff. Yeah, he put lots of money into the art world.
Well,
He was a philanthropist.
I saw a picture of Trump with Rosa Parks and Muhammad Ali receiving an award for helping black youths, inner city black youths.
Good old Donald Trump.
And that picture went viral on YouTube for me.
Yeah.
Because I think people were so shocked by it. But it's the music too.
Just about everything now. Yeah, you're still concerned with things that I'm really not concerned with anymore, you know. So I don't really have much to add to any of this stuff.
Well, anyways, I just hope the conversation. I had fun. I always have fun talking to you and asking you questions. You know.
Well, I hope you're fine. Yeah, that gives me some hope. I mean, if you actually get anything out of this, then that's great. Come back anytime. Yeah, if you're getting something out of it, good.
I would love to hear your music from Suno if and when you or follow me and I'll follow you back. I would love for you to listen to some of the stuff I create too.
Wait a minute. Let me think. I'm trying to figure out how I have a link for that, but I'm not quite sure how I can give it to you.
There's a copy share link next to your profile. You can find it.
You know, the thing is, I've got my Mac, I've got my iPad, and I got my phone. Most of my stuff is on my iPad, but I'm talking to you on my phone, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get access to this thing. You know what the thing to do? If you really want to hear the thing that I did, send me an email requesting it. And
oh, you know what? You know,
what?
After you create a song, you have to go into it and click publish. Otherwise, it doesn't show up on your profile publicly.
I don't know.
It's no big. It's not a big rush. If you create more songs, share it with me in the future.
No, but hold on, that's the website you're talking about, or let me go, because I've got the app here.
Yeah, just use the app. And when you log into the app on your phone, you can click on a song and share the song profile or the song URL or share your profile URL.
Unfortunately, I can't find the app, or I thought I moved it recently because I thought I was going to be spending more time with it.
It's spelled SUNO if you want to search.
No, I know how to spell. I just don't see the icon. This is yeah. Oh, I know how to do it. Okay. So I do have it, yes. And do you have to log in every time, or how? I find the interface somewhat confusing because I'm there now and
I know.
I have no idea what the fuck I'm looking at. There's nothing about home or go here to find anything. It's just.
I know, it's not the greatest. It's pretty shitty actually, but it's better than it was just a couple weeks ago. It's better than it was.
Well, it'll get a lot better probably.
YouTube,
Smart.
there's so much functionality in YouTube that it has taken me years to actually understand like where everything is in terms of like what you can change on your YouTube profile. It's extensive and expansive because you can.
Yeah, I just noticed that a couple days ago. I don't think it always was like that. I don't think those options were things you could go click on a few years ago, or were they? I don't know.
You can add all this functionality and move around on your homepage. It's huge.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna worry about learning all that shit. I'm gonna let my AI take care of that shit for me because I'm too old to start learning all of that shit. So me and my AI assistant will handle it.
This is also an interesting experiment that I've witnessed. This will be the last thing I'll say, and then I'll leave you alone. Is that in my office here, I have 15 cell phones pointed at me on tripods, live streaming onto YouTube. And when
right now.
All the time, like 80 hours a week.
As we're talking, we're streaming.
Yeah, right.
Hi, folks.
Right now.
Hey, folks. Yeah,
Right now.
Go on.
And so, what's interesting is,
wait, is anybody actually there? Do you know if anybody's there?
Yeah, hundreds of people.
Really, right now, at this moment?
Not right now, but over the course of, let's say, an hour.
Okay. Oh, they'll hear a recording of it instead of.
No, they'll tune in live, but I usually cut all of my cameras after 1 hour. So
Well, I'm just trying to figure out. We've had a somewhat interesting conversation, but I don't know what was on before and how many people are going to hear the conversation that you and I had here.
No, nobody will be able to unless they just unless they look me up by my name. There's like a very low probability that people will find what we were talking about.
Well, no, I mean you're not recording this for your own benefit.
I am, but I'm not going to retitle it to conversation about language theory or something like that. It's just.
Listen, never mind. Listen, everybody's got to figure their own strategy out. So.
Yeah, I'm not optimizing the keywords. It's all just under my name, John Kitover. Just from a filmmaking perspective, I can cut every camera just by hitting this little cut button in YouTube, which creates a 50-second clip. And it's just an extraction from the live that puts it into a different category or different column in YouTube. But in terms of
let me ask you a question. Why not just use audio? What does video give you than audio? Above that, yeah.
Because it's taking the audience into consideration. I know that their brains. I have a much better chance of building an audience with a video than I do with an audio.
Really?
Because it's both.
Yeah, you can. I'm not talking about building an audience. I'm talking about affecting an audience.
Yes, affecting an audience. It's because the visual
You gotta get an audience first, right? But then, what,
the visual stimulation is so much more dopamine creation than just audio. It's because you're doing the audio, but you're getting the video. So hands down, video is the winner, and the quality of the video now, just compared to like a speakeasy in the 20s or something, it's.
oh yeah, no, fucking iPhone is plenty to do anything you want to do.
Well, this is why Sweden has outlawed social media for people under 16, because the addictive nature of video on these cell phone devices is heroin. It's just straight up.
It's just getting started too. With a Suno, well, and Sora, again, yeah, it's all. This is such an amazing time to be alive.
So after I create Suno, what I do is I do a screen recorder on my phone, and then I film my songs and I put them on YouTube. And then YouTube is so smart; it creates playlists with my music and other music. YouTube is the ultimate depository of Suno.
The ultimate suppository. Are any of the lyrics you write political?
No, I've been doing all sacred text, so all spiritual about the self, basically.
Hey, listen. I've got to go outside. There's something going on out there. I'm going to be away for.
Okay, God bless. It's been fun chatting with you.
Yeah, okay. I got to get out of here. I know.
Okay.
Fucking whatever, buddy.
I love women, but and you can give me the dead face, and that's cool because that's why our marriage is dying, because women think like you're emotional.
Can you answer the question of the respect portion, please?
Okay, ask me the question again so I can answer you right.
What is the respect portion of your submission? Like, what do you mean by respect?
Respect means that you understand the man and you respect his plight. Right? Every man desires something different from a woman. So it all depends on what the man that you're with desires from you. And I'm not with many women, right? So in my personal opinion, what I desire from a woman is love in the form of affection, a well-cooked meal, and some more affection. Like, it's not a whole lot of things a woman can really give a man. We really desire things that don't really require a lot of thought from a woman. But if we're talking business with the woman at the helm, we want her to do the things that we are incapable of, and we all have different abilities.
Like what? Yeah.
Okay, so if I married you, Panda, right? You're a reasonable woman. Just hear me out, right? I don't want to marry you. Okay, that's what I'm saying, right? I don't desire to marry any of you women that you know. Right?
Yeah.
I'm saying that. We agree. Okay, so stop talking so I can answer